وَمَا أَدْرَاكَ مَا لَيْلَةُ الْقَدْرِ صدق الله العظيم. Today inshallah we will have tafseer, but not of the normal we've been doing, but we'll speak about another couple ayat of the Quran Kareem, which perhaps is somewhat pertinent to the last 10 days of the month of Ramadan, perhaps more specifically to tonight, as being the 27th night of Ramadan. Allah's Rasul sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, it was his habit that every Ramadan he would perform i'tikaf. And he would sit in i'tikaf, being away from society, people in general. The idea is to come to the house of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and to present yourself that you are fully for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And in this i'tikaf, Rasul sallallahu alayhi wa sallam would search himself and would tell the Sahaba radiallahu anhum to search for the Laylatul Qadr in the last 10 nights, and then in some narrations more specifically in the odd nights of the month of Ramadan. This was the Sunnah of Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam. This is what he propagated, this is what he taught the Sahaba radiallahu anhum. And as you may know from the Sunnah of Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam, that those ibadat, those worships which are not obligatory, which are not necessary, nawafil, as you know them, optional, for those Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam would perform it himself. He wouldn't wake up his family, etc. Throughout the month of the year, throughout the year, Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam would wake up at night and perform his tahajjud quietly. He wouldn't wake up anyone, he wouldn't tell anyone that, okay, you have to wake up for tahajjud. Why? It's nothing, it's optional. It doesn't have to be done, so a person does it himself, herself. You don't need to tell anyone else. But in the last 10 nights, the Fatima radiallahu anha says that Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam would wake up his family as well. He would wake up his family and he would tell them that this is the last 10 nights that you should wake up and perform tahajjud, etc. And towards even optional ibadat. Now, why the difference over here throughout the year that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's mercy is there, or whether it's Ramadan or not Ramadan? In the last 10 nights, the mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is at its peak, and it's showering to such an extent that perhaps not taking it at this moment, at this time, not seeking from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, it's almost as if a person is saying that I don't need it, that I don't care about it. And for us to understand, if you can draw an example, imagine someone is bankrupt, someone is in financial difficulty, and someone puts $1 million outside his house and tells him that for the next 4 hours, 3 hours, this money will be here. All you have to do is go and touch it. All you have to do is go and touch it, grab it, and it's yours. That's it. Nothing else. For the next few hours. This person has all the need for it. The money is there without any difficulty. All he has to do is just be there. That's all he has to do. Now next morning you come and ask him that, MashaAllah Mubarak, you have the million? He says, no, I didn't. So why? I was sleeping. So what are you going to tell him? It's almost as if you want to be bankrupt. It's almost as if you want to be in this difficulty that you are in. Right? That's what it seems like. And when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's mercy in this night or in these nights, the Quran Kareem, إِنَّا أَنزَلْنَاهُ فِي لَيْلَةِ الْقَدْرِ وَمَا أَدْرَاكَ مَا لَيْلَةُ الْقَدْرِ. There's no words for it. What do you know about Laylatul Qadr? Do we understand what Laylatul Qadr is? The Quran is asking, you don't even know. Rather, it's a rhetorical question that you don't understand. It's not asking a question that tells me what is Laylatul Qadr. No. It's that you cannot even imagine what this night is and what it has in store for you. But because human beings, just to make it easy, Laylatul Qadr khayrun min alfi shahr. It's better than 1,000. It's not 8,000 months. It's not the reward of 1,000 months. It's better than that. And if you can imagine 1,000 months of ibadah, it's just a big number. That's all. The idea is to show human beings that it's a humongous number. It's a huge number. Something that you cannot imagine. How much ibadah? Can we imagine doing ibadah for 1,000 months? We cannot. A person's life is barely 1,000 months. Imagine doing ibadah for 1,000 months. So the actual is, وَمَا أَدْرَاكَ. What do you know about Laylatul Qadr? And you don't even know, you cannot understand it. Yes, as human beings, if you want to get a glimpse of it, it's better than 1,000 months. So this is the night, these are the nights that we have coming in front of us, that we have spent some of these, perhaps on the Laylatul Qadr, it may be coming. The idea is that in these nights a person should avail himself. إن لربكم في أيام دهركم نفحات فتعرضوا لها. Gusts of the mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the winds that blow of the rahmah, of the mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, maghfirah of Allah ta'ala, فَتَعَرَّضُوا لَهَا. Present yourself. It would be a shame that the night of power is there and it's raining the mercy, tranquility, sakina of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the maghfirah of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, emancipation of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, but we are snoozing, that we are sleeping, that we are doing other things. Now, before we get any wrong ideas, it is permissible to sleep in this night. We're not saying it's not permissible. A person can, if you're tired, rather a person should work out how you want to spend your night. And if a person says, okay, now I'm going to spend the entire night in ibadah and you don't have that energy, then that is also not too much benefit. Rather, if you can spend a quality, half hour of quality ibadah, 40 minutes of quality ibadah, 1 hour of quality ibadah, then make that plan. Whatever works for you. Whether it's first, before going to sleep, whether it's after going to sleep, whether it's work. What we definitely should not be doing is that we are merely staying awake and we are engaging on al-laghwiyat, useless, futile things. Now this night no longer becomes the sabab of mercy, but because this is such a great night, but you're wasting it away and engaging in wrong things, now the sin of that, the wrong of that also multiplies. So that definitely a person should not. And we should think about it that just as the khair and blessings, the goodness of this night is so much, spending the night in the wrong manner, then that will multiply the wrong of it as well. Just as we say that a person does something wrong outside of the masjid, it's wrong. What if we see someone doing something wrong in the masjid? So what do you say? But you're in the masjid and you're doing this. Meaning that place is such a place, it should remind you of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It's such a azim. وَمَنْ يُعَظِّمْ شَعَائِرَ, that's the ayah that we recited, to do ta'zim, holding the sha'air of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in esteem. A person doesn't care about that. So the same way that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has kept blessed times as well. And so we have blessed places like the Masjid, there are blessed times. In these blessed times, it's not only a matter of that it would be even worse that a person does wrong things. So if a person cannot engage herself in ibadah, in worship, you're too tired for tilawatul Quran, then go to sleep. There's nothing wrong with that. A person will not there won't be any sin for going to sleep. Rather, a person will be safe from other laghwiyat and futile things. Also, to spend the entire night just eating, talking, cooking, there is no fadila in that as well. There is no virtue in that. It's not merely staying awake. This is one thing that we, as a community, should understand. That in our custom, in our culture, we say, Jagne ki raat. Right? Jagne ki raat is for those that do not know Urdu, they say the night of awakening. Ihya, almost. But ihya in a different sense. So just to stay awake in these nights, that in itself is of no benefit. What you have to do is fill the night, understand the night to be a vessel. And if you feel good in it, then this is a good night. If you feel ibadah in it, if you feel tilawatul Quran, dhikr, adhkar, then this will be a night of benefit. Then this is khayru min al-fisha. But if you waste it away in other futile things, then there will be the opposite. Rather than it being a sabab and means of goodness, it becomes a means of evil. Spending the night in the masjid, if a person wants to spend tonight in the masjid, should have niyyah bi'atikaf. Should have niyyah bi'atikaf for the night, then the person should spend that night in the masjid. Staying at home is also virtuous. A person can do their own ibadah in their own home. There's nothing wrong with that as well. So these are some things that we should keep in mind. And also at the same time where we're speaking about ibadat, in these nights Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Rasul said that those that quarrel and argue and fight, their maghfirah is not taken. Their du'as are not accepted in these nights. So the very first thing, if we have a quarrel, an argument with other people, whether it be family members or whoever it may be, we should settle that. All those arguments, whatever a person has, settle that between you and the person, and thereafter come to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and do your ibadah. So a person should not think that just because if I engage in ibadah, now all of these other things, the other wrongs I may have oppressed someone's money I may have taken, someone's inheritance I may have taken, someone's other rights, someone I may have oppressed them verbally, that all of that will also be wiped out? No. Those are حقوق العباد, those are rights of people. People have to be asked for the forgiveness of them. So a person needs to go to whoever they have oppressed, whoever they have a problem with, settle that problem, settle that argument, and then a person should engage in ibadah. Also in this night, that if we're engaging in nawafil, then we should not waste away those things which are more important. Yani performing Salatul Isha in Jama'ah in the Masjid, and the next morning Salatul Fajr. If a person spends the entire night in Tahajjud and then sleeps through for Fajr and is unable to make it, or one is that sleeping through Fajr, that's even worse, or that you don't make it to the Masjid, perhaps it's better that you take a full night's of rest and you make it for Salah in Jama'ah in congregation. So that person needs to have a fiqh of tartib. Now what is sequential? Fiqh al-awlawiyah. Fiqh al-awlawiyah, what comes first? So if a person, you should definitely do nawafil. I'm not saying you do not do nawafil, but it should not happen that the entire night that you're doing nawafil, mashallah, now as Fajr time comes, now you're too tired and you say, no, I don't want to go for Fajr Salah, or I cannot perform Fajr Salah, now I'm sleeping. So a person should have this etiquette, adab, a tartib, a sequence of how to spread out your night, of how to make your ibadah, and to do that which is best first, and thereafter what is second as second. May God Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accept our du'as in these nights. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accept our ibadat. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gives us ikhlas and sincerity in what we do. May God Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala not only makes this allows us the chance to perform in this Ramadan, but other Ramadan to come, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala allow us to make it to the next Ramadan with iman, sihha, afiyah. Wa akhiru da'wan, alhamdulillah.